Supernatural, inescapable, supermassive black hole kiss.
That gave him warmth to overcome the cold.
This is America in the second half of the 20th. Jeanette is a slave, not a slave by circum ago, a choice that at the time, the pace of modern teenage society is often fast.
And then I got out to the car, and it's bleeding a lot, still. Well, here's a big giant bag full of gauze that you can, So I'm doing that, and I'm starting to faint, sitting there in the car.
Yeah, you get loose.
Pass out in this fucking car, man. But at least I'm in the car. I'm in the, in the parking lot in Costa Mesa. It's like, all right, it's pretty safe. I didn't. I just kept drinking water, and got through it. But yeah. So you've been there, so you know.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Well, I was bleeding so much, and then you have to bite down on the new teeth, and so so I just went and got tampons, and because there was so much blood, I couldn't figure anything out.
Yes.
So it was nice and compact, perfect size.
Right.
So I kept biting down tampons and using them up all night.
Why didn't I think of that? Perfect idea.
Yeah.
Tampons, Kotex, the whole thing. Ladies, I'm going to borrow this shit for a little bit. Because I have my own needs too,
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, Bruce.
Yeah.
Man. I think I know I saw you the first time, 1977 at the Mask.
Yep.
And now, you get older, your memory, you see photographs in your memory, and you're not sure which one is actually real after a while. And I don't remember if I saw you. I think it was a photograph.
Yeah.
Where you were kind of covered in
duct tape.
No, like whipped cream or shaving cream.
Oh, right.
Or something.
Yeah, shaving cream.
Was that real or was that a photograph?
No, that was real.
That was real. Okay.
That was real.
I did see that.
And there was, I think, one other time, one of my first emceeing things at the Mask was for, I think it might have been, I don't know, Germ Screamer, somebody, maybe it was Screamers, and I thought like, I gotta really do something special, so I wrapped myself like a mummy in duct tape, right. And then I had these fishing hooks that I put in my ear for earrings, and then had tampon again,
tampons,
obsession with tampons, a tampon in one ear and an old rusty beer can on the other ear for earrings, and then I lit myself on fire. I don't know. It was like, I think I wrapped myself also in toilet paper and lit that on fire, and then also, and I had like toilet paper the rolls from the last piece all over me too, and I lit them on fire, and that was my grand entrance to being Bruce Barf, the MC of the Mask.
Yeah, how did you even? I mean, so the day before, let's say, so to speak. How did you even find out about the Mask?
Oh, that's the story. I mean, I'm writing a book. I've actually written a book. I'm just waiting for the publishers to say yes, no,
Good.
On it. But so like 70, the mid 70s. Me and Mark were in a glitter band, glitter space band called the Sky People, and out in the San Gabriel Valley, and we, we're kind of, I even had Spock cut my eyebrows here and then drew them up like Spock, and then had a point, here like Spock and everything. Sure. And then originally I had homemade platform boots because you couldn't get them anywhere back in the earlier 70s. So I had platform boots that I made in wood shop with just a big clunk of, wedge, and then some upholstery tacks and some upholstery wrapped around it, and red patent leather upholstery. So we had our glitter space band, and one of our last shows was 76, and it was with the Dogs, and it was either the Quick or I think it was the Runaways. Yeah, the Runaways and the Dogs, and it was in Baldwin Park at some VFW hall there. And the Dogs just like, wow, you guys are the best. You guys are the best thing we've seen since we came out here from Detroit. And so we were, really kind of stoked on that. And then, so we kind of became friends with them, and they had a place over on Gower Gower and Selma, right next door to Blackie Lawless and Arthur Kane, who were just starting that band Killer Kane.
Yeah.
And then next to that was a place called Passionate Art Studio, which was a BDS&M place there. So that was like the little row of three on Gower, right at Selma. So we were going back and forth. By that time, I had this Ford Econoline van, that old Ford Econoline van that I used to move our equipment and stuff. And me and Mark would go out and visit them every now and then. And then one day, my van just broke in front of their house, and we just lived in it. And and then Arthur Kane and Blackie Lawless are trying to get Mark into their band because he reminded him of Johnny Thunders because he still had the hair that went up and stuff like that, even though it was shorter than the Sky People, and I had cut my hair by that time, and we're starting to get into punk. We wanted to be into punk rock by that time. We're listening to the Dogs, and they turned us on to some stuff. And Mark was already a big Ramones fan.
Oh yeah,
and So Lauren took Lauren from the Dogs took me down to the Mask. Come down here to check out this place. It's really cool, like rehearsal place, and they did. I think they did one showcase, which was actually the first show, but it was just a showcase of bands that rehearsed down there, and so we went down there. I met Brandon, and hit it off real well, and then he had all these. There's all, broken urinals, broken everything down there and stuff like that. I can fix some of this stuff. So he goes, oh, come on down tomorrow and I'll, give you a few dollars and stuff like that. So, and we went back and my van had been towed away. So we lost my home. And so then I was 16 at the time. And so I just went back. The next day I showed up Brendan and he just let me crash there.
There we go.
Which is dragging a mattress down one of the long underground halls down there.
Yeah.
With the cockroaches this big.
Oh.
And so that's how then I just started fixing stuff. And then, for the first show that I was there for, I emceed it. And then he's like, yeah, be the MC.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. See,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about doing this. I can find out.
How we all came to be. Yeah. I know there's so much I'd like to find out about people too that,
right.
I feel like I should be the one interviewing all these people so
well,
I could put some puzzle pieces together
I know,
too.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, when I was talking to Hector of the Zeros,
yeah.
We did an interview and it just amazed me. He's talking about stuff that happened and I was in the fucking room and I don't remember that happening.
Oh,
it's like, wait a minute.
Welcome to my life. Yeah.
That happened? Where? In that which corner?
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating.
We call them stars.
Now man no longer had to gorge himself as soon as he made a fresh kill. Now he could sustain himself between kills.
The beat is sometimes frantic. Coach, the need to belong is ever present.
So you did your book, and I remember we talked, God, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah. Just
a little conversation. You were talking about that, and I said, oh, yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Do your book. Because I did mine, and the thing is, I did as much proofreading as possible in that I asked people, and a lot of times they told me, no, that's not actually what happened. And I'm like, yeah, it did. I remember it. And then they would say something else that would prove they were right. And I'm like, how could I be so wrong?
Yeah.
How could I not remember something that's so solid? But, the thing is, that's what's fun about it.
Yeah.
That's all you've got, your memory. And even if it didn't happen exactly like that.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what happened.
Yeah. John Doe had the right idea. He interviewed everybody for his book to give them stories about what their interaction with him, which is probably what I should have just did. Is just have everybody else fill in the blanks so I wouldn't. Yeah.
Right. Can you tell me what happened to me?
Yeah. Which is proof that we were living it. It's the missing brain cells are proof that we were all 100% all in on punk rock.
Well, and you remember obviously
Yeah.
that thing was so it was so immediate, and it
Yeah.
was so in our faces, and it was so live and in person.
Yeah.
You experienced it by being there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think back, and I'm like, wow, we didn't have the internet at all. Did we need it? No, because everybody kept either we'd meet at the Mask, we'd meet at Plunger Pit or Canterbury or wherever, and there's always somebody who knew what was going on. Didn't take but 15 minutes,
Yep.
and you knew everything that was happening that night.
Yep.
So it was like you had this, and that was what was so great to me, was that it was always person to person.
Yeah.
And but it was a live thing, like you said.
It was organic, and we became all specialists in intel. It was just, it's like just like you were saying, we didn't have the internet and stuff like that. So so people today can just I want to be punk rock, or I want to be goth, or I want to be this, and just come from anywhere, never associate with it at all, but all of a sudden one day say they want to be that, and all they have to do is go online, study for about a couple of days about the bands, the clubs, and stuff like that, the clothes, and then order them all online, and show up, and it's like, I'm goth, or I'm this, or I'm that, and it's just it's pretty funny. But they're not true. They're not like true to the blood, which mean it's not like they're blood brother kins to the people that are in that scene anymore. Where back then it was like we had to, if you went to go down the Mask or something, and you just came from bumfuck Idaho and showed up down there and wore what you thought was like, oh, punk rock, and just wore some stupid outfit down there, we would have trashed you, and you would have left from there with tears in your eyes and stuff.
I talked to many people since then, who have said that very thing.
Yeah,
look, you guys were so mean, and I'm like, whoa, okay, look. First of all, it was different. We were simply claiming something that we wanted to create.
Yeah,
and if we were just like, oh, it doesn't matter, just come on in. Well, how unique is that going to be?
Yeah.
How is that going to be?
Yeah, no, we were all gatekeepers for our scene. We didn't want people there that were going to judge us and not be and had ulterior motives and other reasons for being there than just the fact of loving the counterculture and being different and being weird and wanting to express it. There was people that are just like, oh, I want to fuck a punk rock chick or something like that. So I'm just going to do
Good
this.
luck.
Yeah, right. I know, it's like that. They were anti-sex back then.
Yeah, right. I can imagine somebody trying to move in on some of the Helen or Trudy or like that. No, that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah,
you would have got nowhere. But go ahead.
Yeah, they would have stuck a broken beer bottle up their ass.
No,
right.
Wouldn't have happened. But and the other thing too is that we were if you're down at the Mask and you're at the Mask all the time. We're kind of committed. We are committed to this.
Yeah.
And that means that we're sacrificing other things to do this.
Yep.
And people coming in there just like, that paid no dues, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can't keep anything pure for too long, but still, that was like, no, I mean, you don't just get automatic, here's your ID card.
Yep.
You gotta do something.
Yep.
Be one of Jerry's kids.
The Jerry's, I remember that.
Kids, I might have said.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do something.
Yep.
To prove to us that you are willing to.
You had to sacrifice back then. Now you don't have to sacrifice anything. But then it's so easy just to be a fan of something, or a casual part of a group now, rather than back then you were all in, because you had to you couldn't just, like I said, study it online, go in and be that. You had to learn about it over time, and over time you form bonds, and people check you if you're wrong, and people they're going to tell you if you're wrong, and they're going to accept you when you're right, and it makes you strong. That makes the group strong, and the bonds strong. And these are lifelong bonds. Obviously, these are where we're friends for life. How many years later?
Yeah, I know. And it doesn't even feel like it But that's funny you would say that, because I was thinking about that recently, about how and so it's easy to forget over time, but how, and I forget, I was in somebody's apartment in the Canterbury, and just talking about something, and I just remember people talking and how brutally honest they were about stuff.
Yeah.
It's like honesty was kind of like, we're not here
Absolutely
to
right about
bullshit
the
each
honesty.
other.
Yeah.
We know what this is. We know what we want this to be, but there's really no faking it. You really couldn't fake it. You know? I mean, just an apartment. And I remember the first time I went to. Oh God, don't tell me I can't remember.
Canterbury.
First time I went to the Canterbury. Yeah, and I'm sitting on the floor, and I mean it was just constant cockroaches crawling over you. The little.
It's in my book. I'll bet all that too.
Yeah, the little German.
Yeah.
Cockroaches, but still, I'm like, fuck. How do you live here? And then, of course, you get your own place and you start on the killing spree.
They decay one by one, here and there, in a barrage of inconceivably small and silent explosions.
And he could, in time, be more than a hunter. He could become a farmer, an artist, a writer, a member of a cultured society.
The desire to try something new is too great a temptation. But the effect isn't long and lasting, and when the drug wears off and the coming down, as it's called, takes place, you feel let down and tired.
I would go, I had an apartment at Canterbury for a year or two, and so, you come in and turn on the lights, and you hear all this scurrying like the Kentucky Derby, and then your walls would go from obsidian, reddish brown to white, or beige or whatever the hell it was, in like a matter of a few seconds. And it got to the point where I didn't even try to kill them. I would try to catch them and get nail polish and put little stripes on them and numbers on them and stuff like that. Give them names.
That's so excellent. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
It's like the only way to deal with it.
Yeah, for every one you kill, two more are going to show up. So just, keep the ones you got.
I know. Well, I always thought, well, the only way to deal with that, since no one is going to come in here and actually try and deal with it, is just to burn the whole building to the ground.
Yeah.
Just burn it up. I mean, I don't know what they did, because that building still stands, and God only knows what people are paying to live there. But I thought,
That's like the Cecil Hotel, and I used to live in Cecil Hotel in downtown L.A. back in the early 80s. And,
I'm sure.
And stuff. And it was like, it was like, every couple of nights I'd hear bang, down the street, and there was another body hitting the ground from one of either the Roslyn or the Cecil Hotel. Somebody flying out the window or being thrown out of the window over a drug deal that gone bad. And you just have to, every night the knobs would turn on your door, and you'd have to like bring weapons with you and stash everything, up your ass or in your shoe, or to go to the bathroom down the hall or whatever you had to do. And it was crazy, but now it's like, luxury living,
I know, right.
Yeah.
$3,000 for
exactly. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, I was. It is interesting to me, the origin stories.
Yeah.
Of how people kind of found their way to the mass, because, obviously it wasn't advertised, and I mean, I the thing that I liked so much, the first show I went to, I missed the very first show. The one with the Weirdos without the drummer and the Germs, and at the Orpheum.
Yeah.
I didn't even when they said Orpheum, and somebody said, oh, there's going to be a show at the Orpheum. It's going to be, finally, LA has, and I was thinking of the one downtown.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know there was a little Orpheum theater on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So I missed that. And then I missed the second one there. But so I went to Blondie at the Whiskey, the first show, January 77.
I was there, yeah.
And then I went to Ramones, I think, for the next week.
Yeah.
But you just meet a couple of people, and then they know a couple of people, and then pretty soon they're saying, oh, there's this thing, like the record swap meet, at Capitol Records.
Yeah.
And then, suddenly that's where I first saw, like, Darby Bobby Pinn
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, he was Bobby
And
Pinn.
Bobby
When I met him.
and you start meeting him pretty soon. Boom.
Yeah.
Everybody's connected. Everybody's talking.
Yeah.
And what's the next thing going on? Well, I'm damn sure not gonna miss it at this point. But
Yeah.
But I got to the Mask through Michelle Meyer, who was booking the whiskey.
Oh, right.
And just
yeah, I
a
remember
weird way. I gave her a ride because she didn't drive, and I had my little '67 Volkswagen Fastback, 62 horsepower.
that. Wow.
And so gave her a ride, and with Kim Fowley to this thing called the Mask, and it was like pre-official, or
Yeah.
Brendan was just kind of introducing it, and of course, I mean, you had to love Brendan. I mean, it just
Yeah.
kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
Just, our Scottish dad.
Yeah, it's Scottish dad. I could only understand about every other sentence he said. It was such a thick accent, and you see, besides just the thick Scottish accent, he just seemed to mumble sometimes, and he would ramble for like he could talk. So
Just go on and on.
yeah, on and on.
So those early days. Now, were you helping him kind of take the Mask from just rehearsal only to a live? This?
Well, I mean, I was, we would bounce the ideas off each other. I mean, I can't say it was his deal. He was the one who was responsible for the shows, but you would definitely bounce ideas, ask me, what bands he think I would, we could put together and stuff like that would work and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it was involved to a degree on all of that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, I just kind of figured you would be since you're there, and
yeah, but definitely
maybe.
In his ear.
Yeah, because he didn't. I mean, at that time, he didn't have too much connection to local bands, did he? Or did he? I mean, that was you knew more about that than he did.
His connection to local bands were just the ones that rehearsed down there. But he had quite an eclectic group down there. I mean, there was like Angeline. Angeline was down there in her band Baby Blue.
Yeah.
And we used to always sit in the office and make fun of her. That was so funny. Yeah.
Because there was no other.
And then Rick Wilder had his place down there with the Berlin Brat or the Mau Mau's Berlin Brats at the time, and then Jane King, who was murdered by the Hillside Strangler, one of her victims he was grooming her to play, I think, bass or something, or doing something. But yeah, she was.
And weren't and then the Controllers.
The Controllers had a place down. The Skulls had a place down there.
Skulls, yeah. Did the Motels?
The what?
The Motels.
Motel.
Did
Martha
they?
David. Yep, they did.
Yeah,
They absolutely did. Yeah. So there was a big group of. So I think Brendan got to know people from that little group, and then the things that were going on at the time were not just punk rock, but like Dean Chamberlain was doing like Code Blue type things.
Right.
So there's like the kind of already that kind of new wave, more new wavy thing, or the ultravoxy kind of crowd were doing
power pop.
Power pop. The Nerves were down there.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the Nerves were down there. So I think from that he had a pretty big pool because from those people that were down there and the different genres that were pretty broad.
Not bad.
That the friends of their friends, he would have access to other bands that they knew and played with and stuff like that. So I think that's how so everything he got from the Mask. Other than the Mask, he wasn't like he was just in a can and jazz and stuff like that.
Right. Yes, all the prog rock stuff. That was Brendan, but he had to learn some new new stuff. But yeah, I mean, I remember the Eyes were rehearsing down there, and then
the Eyes too. Yeah,
even it just got to be like, and I did the first little rehearsal. Oh no, I think that was at the Canterbury actually. When the Go-Go's didn't have a drummer.
Oh yeah,
and I was still living with Jane. Did about an hour rehearsal. I played drums.
Yeah,
with them the first one, and I think we got on the Mask stage and did like 3 songs or something.
Wow.
I don't remember. It's weird.
Yeah.
Just can't.
Did you know that me and Mark played with Craig Lee before the Bags or before going to the Mask back? I think it was like early 77, early 77. We answered, there was an ad for something, it was like for some different Ramones-y type thing, Stooges and stuff. And we went and he was living over, I think we went over towards, it was like West Hollywood, but over towards the Melrose, Beverly section of West Hollywood, and we met him over there. Him and a girl named Madeline, who was a singer, and Madeline was also at worked at Ball Beauty, where everybody got their first manic panic hair color and stuff. But yeah, we played with Craig Lee way before, even before the mass. So it was when he was like in the bags and stuff like that. I was like, wow, all right, Craig, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, I Craig, God, I mean, the guy just had some balls. He wanted to do stuff, and he did stuff. We got along, and occasionally we didn't get along.
He could be that way. Yes.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, Craig, really you gotta stop, or something's gonna happen, and it's not gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
But that's that's pretty cool. That because I mean, in fact, that's right. I first met Craig when we went down there for that thing with Michelle, that pre-opening, whatever. And all I remember people talking about was, oh, his mom was in Plan 9 from outer space.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I thought, oh, wow, everybody here's so cool, so hip. They just know all this shit. And I think everybody was just learning it for the first time themselves.
Now, what was his mom's name? Did she have a Lee at the end of her name?
Yeah.
Was it Ruta Lee?
That doesn't sound...
No. Because Ruta Lee was an actress. Then I lived on her property up in Laurel Canyon for a while. I lived in a back house where she owned.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's probably not the same Lee.
Sure. Well, maybe not. But there was a Lee. I keep wanting to think Joanna Lee. Well, let's take a little break, and then when we come back, we'll check it out. We'll come back.
extremely thin, with extremely low-level intensity, it has always been with us.
Fire elevated man from the animals, and the art of cooking made him civilized.
Now you meet like conspirators because the passing of pills is dangerous.
It's just like, if you could do anything, underplay and just keep the song glued together. Fuck, you know?
It's the best way. Even John Bonham was
yeah,
kind of, you know, understated. It was just, he was heavy-footed, though, which really,
yeah.
And he was like kind of just behind the beat, which kind of, you know, was a thing.
Listen, Bruce, people, that's so important.
Yeah.
People don't understand, and I try to kind of like get this, just in bands I've been in. It's like, there's that, you hit the beat, but it's like a fraction delay. It's almost like you come in at the very last second, and it almost feels like a delay. It's not.
Yeah.
But that's where you hit it. That's where it's got the impact. And so many people, particularly some guitar players I've known, they just want to come in and just like swamp the whole beat.
Yeah.
They just want to be there. They want to start the chord before.
Yep.
You know,
rushing,
the impact is there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, you're pulling the balls off this thing.
Yep.
You know, let it hit first.
Yeah.
But guitar players, what can I say?
Yeah, guitar players. And what John Bonham, people didn't realize about John Bonham, that, you know, what he did being behind the beat, is it actually had a second tier to what he was doing that was ended up being pretty genius. Was that nowadays, especially in electronic music and stuff like that, with the heavy basses and heavy kick drums and stuff like that, they kind of cancel each other out in the mix. But if you duck them, what they call ducking, is when you just have a slight delay, where you put have the wave files, the drummers hit and the bass players hit just off centered a little bit. Yeah. Then you get the more impact from both of them at the same time. So in fact, so he was already doing that and not canceling the bass out. You know?
Yeah. You know, I mean, lead singers that's a whole different subject. Guitar players, you know, they live in their own universe.
They do.
Of course, I'll be having to talk to guitar players
next. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to defend this somehow. But, but you know, it's true. These kind of things just really get, you know, all we're arguing for, all we're standing on this hill to try and say is just let those beats happen.
Yeah.
You know, let that emphasis be there where it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, kids, where it should be.
Yeah.
Guitar player, you're going to get to play your chord.
Yeah.
You can have your chord.
Yeah, don't premature ejaculate on the song.
Well, you said it. And there's nothing else I can add. Yes. But anyway, one of these days, it would be fun to do, I think, a thing with just drummers and bass players.
Yeah,
we
that'd be funny.
On everybody.
You motherfucker.
Let's talk about guitar players. Of course, they'll do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
fucking
right.
bass players, fucking drummers. And, you know, there's so many jokes about drummers and bass players. Yeah. It's like, you know.
Right. So we have, I don't feel bad at all.
Yeah.
Because, we're often the butt of those jokes.
Yes.
But, yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about your book.
Yeah.
So you've been working on it for a little while, but you told me before we started this that it's done.
Yeah.
So in the can.
Yeah. I mean, I did it. I did a first draft of it, and it was pretty much chronological, almost like from the beginning of my life to the end. And it wasn't just about, you know, Wall of Voodoo or the Weirdos or Bruce Moreland or any of the bands I was with, or just the Mask. It was like, because my upbringing, and it was, you know, there was so many things going on. There's so many dynamics in my life growing up and throughout my life, and so many undercurrents to the things that I was doing, you know, eating disorders, you know, heroin abuse, growing up with child molestation, with an alcoholic mother, single mother, growing up, you know, in poverty pretty much, and all these things that were going on in my life.
That's quite a thumbnail right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't worry about the small amounts of natural background radiation.
Yet for the past 40,000 years of human history, methods of cooking have remained the same. But now, at last, in the age of space, and in fact, as part of the fallout from our great technological effort, there are new ways of preparing foods.
You've heard Mike and the group talk of toking up a joint. You know it means smoking marijuana.
I felt like I needed to kind of go from early on and fill it in the blanks that would answer itself later on, and some of them the behavior and decisions and stuff like that. So I did it, pretty much chronological, and then my glitter band era, then the mask and the punk rock scene and stuff like that, on to post-punk, Wall of Voodoo, on to, some Nervous Gender stuff, towards the end of Wall of Voodoo, and then the Ravens Moreland and stuff like that. But then and there was a lot of smut, a lot of sex in there. I mean, I just put it all in there,
Good.
And then I let somebody read it who I really hold a high opinion on, who's published and written a lot of books, and stuff. And he said, everybody has a childhood, it's like, and it's just like, it just floored me, right? It's like, whatever. But, but it kind of it's true. Everybody, and there's a lot of people who had rough childhoods too. Yeah. And he goes, you should just try to make it like more about, what most people that think about you would be interested in is, Wall of Voodoo, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't cut out everything, but I started out, at a time when I was talking about earlier about when I met, the dogs and started moving down the mask and stuff like that. But then I would cut back, allude to things that happened in my childhood that would pertain to things that are going on right there. So the book, so I had to rewrite it. I kind of rewrote it, coming from a different time frame and alluding to periods earlier than that, but trying to keep it more the time frame tighter. And so I mean, I looked at it, and there's less information. The book's shorter. But I left out some of the smut, but there's still a good amount of smut in there. So I kind of rewrote it for that, and then so we'll see. The publisher says, and if I have to eventually just self-publish, then I'm going to put everything back in there and just put it out.
If you choose to do that, call me.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know where to go, where to get it done. There's a place in Las Vegas to do it.
All right,
really good job. Much lower. Good thing. I've done my last one I did that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So okay, that's cool. When I started mine, it was about everything out there, and I let a similar person that I knew in New York read various clips, clips.
Was it Nika Ray by any chance?
No.
Oh. Okay.
And she wrote back and she said, "Where's Terry?"
Oh.
And I'm just like, "What do you mean? I don't give a shit about all this stuff you're telling me. I want to know what you were doing, what you were thinking. Where's you?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, rewrite the whole thing. There's another year."
Uh-huh.
But that just cut through all the crap.
Yeah.
And I go, okay. And I said, "But I'm not famous. I'm not some celebrity." And she said, "Well, it doesn't make any difference because the story is the thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be.
Yeah.
If your story has got enough dynamic and enough meat there, and maybe some smut.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting. That's what's fascinating. Because a lot of famous people write the same fucking book.
Yeah.
Here I am. I did this. I was inspired. Oh, and then I got involved with all these drugs. Oh, and then I went to rehab, and finally I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
And now here I am today.
Yeah.
It's the same exact story, the same exact book every single time. So, I mean, I don't want you to rewrite it, but ultimately I figured here's the thing. My best audience, my only audience is me.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
If I like it, I'm amused by it. I think that's funny. Because here, if you don't put something in that you really felt strongly about or just felt like, oh, it belongs there. If you take that out or something, you'll regret it. You'll want to put it back. So yeah, sure, show it to them. But if there's stuff like that, and like you said, if you self-publish, throw everything against the wall.
Yeah.
Just put it all out there.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that, because just the last week I've been thinking, did I put enough about my feelings in there? Did I put enough about if I was hurt by this situation, if I was,
put that in there.
How sad I was, how, the feelings. And of course, there were so many drugs. Sometimes feelings didn't come into play much, because you just buried the feelings with another shot of heroin. But there definitely, I think there was some anger and rage going on in there that I'm needing to go revisit the book and maybe stick in some some
put
of the
anger
feelings,
and some rage, in there.
Rage and some,
because it's universal.
Yeah,
it's universal across anybody, anywhere. Everybody goes through those things, feels the same things to one extent or another.
Yeah.
And that makes it universal right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that question, where's Terry?
Yeah.
Same thing you can. Where's Bruce?
Yeah.
All right. So maybe just scan it again. You see something like, is that Bruce? There's not enough Bruce.
Yeah.
More Bruce.
Yeah.
We need more Bruce.
More cowbell. Yeah.
And just put that in there, man.
Yeah.
People will eat that stuff up. I'm really excited. I want to read this thing.
Oh, cool. All right.
We'll have to do a book exchange.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I got some sitting around gathering dust.
Yeah.
I still sell them a few every month. But
cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about your book. I think that's going to be great.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
It's going to be good. Yeah, because you had a unique spot. Now, real quick, I want to go through, well, not real quick necessarily, but I want to go through, your musical, so you knew how to play. You were a musician. That first band that you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And then there was the mask thing, and you're living down there. And then how did you kind of morph into a band? What was the first band?
It was the Weirdos.
The Weirdos. Okay,
and it was well, actually, I played bass. One-off shows a couple of shows as bass on for the Skulls when Chaz wasn't around or couldn't do it, and then I played a bass for the Controllers a couple of shows.
Can I just say this? The Skulls were one of my favorite bands.
Oh yeah,
Mark was such.
Yeah.
He was just such an ass kicking on two legs.
Yeah.
God, I loved watching him and that.
Yeah, he was
and
amazing in
V.
that. I know.
Dave's just like pile driving through everything.
Yep.
God, that was a cool band.
That was a good band.
And seeing them right up close like that at the Mass.
Yeah.
Man, that was power.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just man.
And then because he was so shy, all the girls used to rip his clothes off all the time.
Oh, poor Mark.
Just because he was so shy, It's like they wanted to get a rise out of him.
You poor thing.
Became
Let
a
us
thing. Yeah, he was
rescue.
mortified. Yes.
He's like, somebody help me. No, don't help me.
Mark was painfully shy.
Yeah.
But to safely handle larger amounts, we must keep our distance and shield ourselves.
Freezing to preserve them, and cooking without the application of heat.
You try to convince yourself you're right, but deep inside you know you're not. You lose your sense of values.
But anyway, so go ahead. All right.
So I mean, and then I think I was living at the Canterbury. Nikki was living there. We were hanging out, and then Dave Trout, the original bass player from the Weirdos, who was on the first couple of singles, and that they recorded early on, like in the first 6-7 months of the band.
Yeah.
And then, but after that, he wanted to be a full-time teacher, so he got a teaching gig and gave up punk rock. And then they asked me, and so I jumped into the Weirdos and played with the Weirdos for about a year and a half, like all through, late '77 through, not even a year and a half. It was about a year. We recorded. We did a couple of tours, and stuff, and then Mark had got a job, and he got a synthesizer, and we were always into the Roxy music and all that, and Brian Eno and stuff like that from our Glitter days, but we and Robert Fripp and King Crimson and stuff like that. So we really wanted to do something more avant-garde and electronics. So Mark worked for a summer, got a Moog synthesizer, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to do a band that's got more just different, more electronics to it." And so he got out of the Skulls, started looking around, then Stan Ridgway had a band down there called the Model Citizens, Mark kind of talked to him about being a singer, and they said yeah. So my plan was to eventually leave the Weirdos to go with them, and then one of our last tours just kind of ended badly, and I had a fight with one of the members. Nothing big, but it was just stuff where it's like forget this, and that was my cue to leave, and then so we got back, and then we started working, me, Chaz, and Mark, on Wall of Voodoo, and which is supposed to be just a soundtrack company in the beginning, but nobody was buying our soundtracks and stuff. So and then Brandon had the Mass Benefit show going, and he said, "You guys want to play for that?" And I go, "There we go." So yeah, sure, and we'll be a band. So we just pulled together. I think it was just the three of us at the time, and then maybe we even had Brendan play drums on one or two songs that had drums on it, and with our rhythm machine and stuff, and played the Mass Benefit, which had the Germs and the Cramps and Pure Hell. A lot of really cool bands. And then that's when Wall of Voodoo
Wall of Voodoo.
Wall of Voodoo took off. Yeah,
that lasted for.
Yeah, well, I was in the band till '82, and then me and Stan had a big falling out. Stan, and then so I just left in the middle of Call of the West, recording Call of the West, and got uncredited for actually partially writing the song Call of the West and a few other things on there, which
I know how that goes.
I'm not gonna get into that right now, but. And then right after, they make it big in Mexican radio without me, and finally get money for all the suffering that I had to do. And so they're making some money now and playing big tours. And then Stan, thinks he's going to make it on his own, just solo, because he worked with Stuart Copeland and did Dope Box me in for that movie Rumblefish. And thought that was just going to be his trajectory, just to be a solo career guy and keep going that way. But it didn't work out for him. Probably not the way he'd exactly want it to be. And then me, Mark, and Chaz and everybody decided that I would come back in. We'd try to find another singer. I was at a party in West Hollywood somewhere, and I ran into Andy Preboy, who was in the band Eye Protection in San Francisco, and he just moved down here. And I said, "You want to try out?" So we did, and that started the second version of Wall of Voodoo, which is actually in some ways, well, you can't compare them, but it was a different version, but equally as good, if not even a little bit better in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Did that for a few albums, and then during that time, I was playing with Nervous Gender. Actually, all of us Wall of Voodoo people were doing some. Yeah. We're in Nervous Gender at one time. We were like, it was at one point it was Nervous Gender, Edward and Gerardo with me, Mark, Chaz, and Ned, our drummer from the second version of Wall of Voodoo. So it was like four members of Wall of Voodoo and Nervous Gender. We called it Wall of Gender. And did that for a while, and then I think during all this stuff, I had things going on, my heroin and eating disorders and things. I was a mess, and getting busted for dope and selling dope in downtown LA, balloons to cars, that pulled up, and things were not that good. And then at the last tour they did with Wall of Voodoo, they were working with a producer that I didn't like at all. We didn't get along, and I just didn't even show up to the studio half the time, and then they had a tour, and I just didn't even show up for it. They just did a tour without me.
Not gonna.
And then and I was a mess, and then I went on a long downward spiral where I was selling heroin, smoking crack in MacArthur Park, selling pills in MacArthur Park, and it's just a fucking mess. Several suicide attempts and stuff. And then eventually got clean and wanted to get back into music. And this time, do what I've always wanted to do, the kind of music I always wanted to do, which is what I'm doing now with Bruce Moreland. So got that back, started going in 1998. And been doing that ever since.
Well, it's a happy ending.
Yeah.
If not, it's a good ending.
Yeah, yeah.
And that puts you in the here and now, and
Yep.
you're active and you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, you guys don't play a lot.
No, and that's kind of by design a little
Yeah.
bit too. I mean, it's like, I'm older. I don't need to go. I got to play all the time. I just and I'm trying to make it more.
If you're older, that means I'm older. Don't say that.
Yes, I like to make it more special. I think once this album comes out that I'm waiting on, then the plan is to do more shows and actually get on some tours, like go back east and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. Mostly, but I kind of need for somebody that's kind of still after all this time very underground like myself. I kind of would need to piggyback with a band that's a little bit bigger to just to make it all worthwhile. If I go
that's
back
okay.
east.
I mean that always, the stage of any band kind of they're always there.
Yeah.
At one point, like okay, we need this to get here, and But I mean, bands, you think about the places we had to play back then, and I always felt like, well, we had some, but it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
Other than sometimes those rented halls, that would pop up here and there.
Yep.
But nowadays, I mean, they've got a ton of places to play. There's so many places to play.
I know.
Throughout.
I know, it's incredible.
Southern California. I mean, it's fantastic though. If you're in a band,
you kind of need that now because the city is so crowded. Back when we were younger, you could go from Silver Lake to West Hollywood to go see a show at the Whiskey and be there in 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Now it's like you got to plan to go there early in the day, make a trip of it, stay there, eat, and stay over there all night. Yeah.
Right, and then go to the show.
So it's so impacted and it's so hard to get anywhere in LA. It takes so long that you kind of need these little little neighborhood places to play just for that area because you're stuck there.
Well, I mean, but they pretty much have it. I mean, there's some nice places, Slipper Clutch downtown, and I mean, you could just go on and on. I mean, breweries.
Yeah. Some of my favorite places are just the Monty and places like that.
Yeah. Yep. Oh no, it's great. I mean, it's just good to be in a band.
Yeah.
I don't really miss it, but I'm really glad that people. My peers are still playing.
Yeah.
And I love going and seeing young bands.
Yeah, me too.
I've been doing that since pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Just seen so many good bands. Zach's band, Crisis Actor.
Yeah, they're great. I love Crisis Actor.
Fucking good band, man.
Really good.
Good songs. That's the thing that impresses me about young people today. They're good.
Yep,
they're good.
Very good.
And I just wish... I wish there was a way that they could get more attention. They should have, 200, 300, 400, 500 people out seeing these bands.
I know.
Because if a band like that back then, they would have that.
Mm-hmm.
They would be selling out these clubs, because they're just that good. So the only thing you can say is keep going, don't give up.
It's good to have choices, but right now we might have actually too many choices. It's like
maybe
there's just too many. A lot of bands and a lot of people trying to genres and people trying to do different things that are pulling people different ways and stuff like that.
It's hard. Yeah. And I think the internet itself, as much as I love the internet, it's also siloed so many of us. And it's actually kind of hard to. It's like, hey, get out of your silo. Come look at this.
I know.
Check this out.
Yeah, and they feel like you can just the next day just go online and look at it and see, they did that song. That song sounded really good. Yeah, and that's the only patronage you need to do is just to sit there and
click it. Okay, I like you.
Yeah,
subscribe. I wish they would do that on YouTube.
Yeah,
like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Yeah,
thank you. So great.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how the thing works. That's the fuel. That's the engine.
Yeah.
Now, so it's all right. So, but you're liking what you're doing. You feel good about it musically.
Yeah, very much.
And you got this book. All right. So you don't really know about the book, but it's coming out soon. You think maybe before the end of the year, possibly?
I would say more the beginning of 2026. Yeah, since we're already in September
getting
now.
there. Yeah.
So I'd say the beginning of 2026, and then for the album, I would say, late the end of this year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Excellent.
done. It's just got to be, we're just waiting on contracts.
Well, it's nice to have it in the can.
Printing, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's there. I mean, I know of a couple of other bands, same situation. It's sitting there in the can. Just need to have, somebody that can actually put out something physical.
Yeah.
And thank goodness that still exists in whatever form.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Bruce. You got to come back, man. There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
You gave us some pretty heavy thumbnails right there.
Oh, good.
Going through that. I don't know how much you want to talk about it.
I don't mind talking about anything in my life.
But it could be, I don't know. There could be people out there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm an open book. I can tell. There's not one part of my life that it's a secret.
Can we come back and we'll get heavy?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll just get our boots on and get in the mud. Let's do it, man. Thanks, Bruce. Really appreciate it. Man.
All right.
Best of luck to you. And yeah, we'll do this soon.
Okay.
Really soon. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, man. Bye, everybody. Bye. That was great, man. Yeah. Fucking great.
That was fun.
That was really good.
Sometimes I just, because my memory's not so good, I worry. I get nervous about doing interviews. But this was because we were both talking to each other.
Yeah,
it just seemed to roll off. Yeah, it was really
and that's
good.
what I want this to be. Is just like a casual,
love the way you do
fun
thing.
We're just a little bit of atmosphere.
The atmosphere really helps too. This is really a great atmosphere.
Yeah.